Hey friends, hey, here I am. I'm at the table. Boss baby's over here on the floor. She's happy for the moment playing. Let's see how far we can get. That's okay. That's the good stuff, and it's worth every second. But she may or may not stay happy on the floor, and if she doesn't, we'll just stop and pick her up, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. Hey guys, come on in. Hello. How is your day going? Mine has been kind of hectic. Yeah, we've got tree workers here working on a bunch of trees that need to be trimmed and removing one. And hello, Capri. And I've got the baby, and she's just, she's having a baby day. She just wants to be held. And so she doesn't want to lay down and take a good nap. Hey, my other Cheryl. And so we are here. Yeah. Whew, made it. Okay. I'm drinking Diet Pepsi. I don't know. What's that say about the day? Okay. So we have two goals. Hey, Stephanie. Hello. I have two goals for today if we can get there. I want to get some pages in our journal here, and I want to try to do that with a hidden spine. I'm hoping that's going to work. Hey, Becky, how are you, my friend? All right, so I have my papers pulled out here. And then you remember yesterday I said how much fun this would be with a Reader's Digest condensed book. So I pulled out one box. I have more of my Reader's Digest books. Hey, Missy, hey. And so this particular box has 6 books in it. And I thought if we get through the page part, I would love to use some of the textiles that I have left over from yesterday. And mainly what I thought we would do would be just to decorate the spine. We use our Reader's Digest books, hey Susan, a lot to make beautiful journal covers because they're just so amazing all of their own. But we could also do an altered book with them or just a decorative thing. So anyway, that's what I pulled out. But I love these and their autumn colors. And look, they match except for the color. And then just in this box, there's this one, which I really like. And then some of them still have the dust jackets on them. This one has a green. Look at that. Oh, that says mid-century modern styling to me. It looks like my mom's old kitchen when that color came out and she redid the whole kitchen. And then in here, there's a red and blue, which I really like. And it's one of the thinner ones. And then there's this beauty. I love this. Love this color. So that's just this box. But I love them. So I have a hard time leaving them behind. Like so many other wonderful things, I have a hard time leaving behind. Okay, so that is my plan, and we're going to go with it as far as we can. Everybody doing okay? All right, so here is our book cover from yesterday. We just took a book apart. Ours was avocado green and harvest gold. I remember coming home from school one day and my mom had emptied the kitchen cabinets and had all the doors off and decided to paint the cabinet doors harvest gold. And my dad was mortified because she was painting over perfectly good wood to do that. But she loved it. She loved it. So this is our book from yesterday. If you didn't get to see how we did this, you can catch the replay on that. But we just removed the pages from this book, leaving the spine intact. Then we covered that spine front and back with just what I use for bookbinding, a strip of fabric. And we did that not because we needed the fabric so much as we wanted to cover the words that were printed on the spine so we could use it. And then we just covered it with some bits and pieces of the vintage doilies and textiles that will have what I left out of the packets that I made for the sale tomorrow. And then we added these 2 photos and a little vintage ribbon just for a simple closure to get us started. And that's where we are. Now, I have been wanting to try hidden spines, mainly to see if I like them or not. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I know that sometimes look at this thing I've used. Sometimes when I make a project, it just isn't so suited in my mind to all of the strings. Now I love that look with the ribbons and everything out of the back, or I don't mind the sewing showing. There we go. But this is just an alternative if you're doing a style. Hey, Valerie, that would be better if maybe you didn't see all that, or just a style choice, okay? So this is the back of an old notepad, right? Because it doesn't matter what it looks like, we're gonna cover it. This is where I traced that little pocket. I did not trim these photos with crinkle scissors. I could have, but I just trimmed them straight. It would be very much old style if I had though, wouldn't it? All right, so to reinforce the spine, if you guys have not done that, hey Maxine, welcome. We just need to cut a piece of chipboard that will fit inside this groove. We want it to fit in there enough that it does not interfere with what's going on with the covers. So it's always thinner than I think it's gonna be. Because I always want to give it extra. I don't know. I just, of course, extra is better, right? More is better. But on my ruler here, and I usually have to trim it a couple of times, but I think if I look from in between those two dents, it's about 3/4 of an inch. So I am going to cut mine just over 1/2 inch so that it will fit securely down in here when we're done. Okay. All right, so let's see how that goes. All right, so I have to do all my favorite things. I have to measure accurately, and I have to cut accurately. Would be nice with that part too. So I'm just gonna come down here from this end, and I'm gonna make a couple of marks at 1/2 inch. Since it's only 1/2 inch, then we are only going to do one set of pages. That and the fact that it's my first time doing this kind of binding, and I think one set would be easier than trying to figure it out with more than one. So we're just going to do a single signature set of pages in here. Okay, so there is a fairly straight line. Hey Dolores, how are you? And now I'm going to use my box cutter, which is not as sharp as it was. And I'm gonna lay my ruler as a guide. That's the best luck I have getting a straight line, is to use my ruler as a guide and then run my little box cutter right along the edge of my very firmly held onto ruler, okay? Oh, have a great day. Okay. And I'm just going to try to hit that same groove again and go just a little bit deeper. And then once you get about halfway through, you should be able to fold it. And in this case, I got a little spot right here that came all the way through. And that will serve as my guide to keep it going the way it's supposed to. Gosh, that looks really skinny now. If I did it completely wrong, well, then we're glad I had a big piece of the chipboard, right? Okay. So let's see. I'll open my book. I'm going to lay this spine piece in there. And it could be a little bit wider, but having never done this, I don't think it matters. Famous last words, right? Because we're going to cover this with the fabric because we don't want all of our mechanics to show. And that is going to take up some room, and then we're just going to glue it in there really, really good. So let's say this is good and give it a try. I think it is. All right, so there's where I want to trim my length off. I want it to match this inside liner piece, not this outside edge, but the inside edge. Okay, and had it on the wrong side. It's going to be one of those experimental days. That's okay. I'm good with that. Really, I am. Okay, now you could cover this little spine or big spine or whatever size spine you make, however you want to. Okay, You could cover it in a scrapbook paper that gets close to your theme. Whatever, it will be fine. I want mine to kind of disappear, so I want to cover mine in the same, I'm going to cover it in fabric, but not the same fabric because that's not sitting here at the moment. But I have that other piece and it will be fine. It's not going to be seen once you get your pages and everything in there, you know, because that's going to be totally covered. Well, Dana, make sure it works first before you take too many notes, because I am doing first time here. So I'm just going to take a piece of this. I think it's an old dish towel that was in with some stuff I bought, and I clipped off the pretty embroidery, and this is just the leftover fabric. Okay. Now, I think this one is plenty big enough. It's going to wrap all the way around and probably then some. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to cover all the way around if you're doing it, because this is what's going to be glued down in. Okay, let me scoot this out of the way so I don't make a disaster. I think I'll keep the board, though, in case I do make a little bit of a glue disaster. All right, so we want to cover this. We're also going to punch our holes in this. And the way that I have the best luck is to put the holes in before I cover it, because sometimes your hole puncher, depending on what you use, may or may not hold super great on this. And you can always punch your holes in the board and then come back later with just anything sharp and kind of push all that fabric through. All right. Now this is way too wide because it's a really skinny board. So let me get some of this. About half of that would have been plenty. Okay, and I'm debating glues again, sitting here. I think we'll do Fabri-Tac. That was a really crooked spot in there. Hi, Mindy, how are you? You hear the baby's toy down there? Old MacDonald Had a Farm is singing to us. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this piece. Now, I said, put your holes in it. It's an optional step. So I'm going to tell you that I normally would punch my holes whenever I'm doing anything like this first and then push through, especially if I'm covering with paper. You know, because when you punch through a bunch of layers of your paper, sometimes it gets all crinkly. So I would take my punch and punch my holes in my cardboard. And then afterwards, when I had the paper all on it, I would just go through with a good sharp pencil and poke through that hole, and it'll give you a beautifully rounded push through. Okay, that's just a tip, just a tip. Okay, so I'm gonna just run a little bit of Fabri-Tac. I should have put it upside down for a while. It always takes it forever to get down in the tip. So I'm just gonna run it. We don't care what this looks like because it's all gonna be covered when we're finished. I'm just spreading it out so that I know it gets glue on all the surfaces. And I'm just gonna place it down there in the middle. And then I'm gonna put, it takes 5 minutes for it to come down in the tip and 3 seconds for it to run back down the bottle. How is that even so? I'm gonna put just a little bit on the two ends and fold these up. And then we'll do the center and put the edges in, okay? And this is on definitely gonna be the glued in side, so I'm not at all worried about smoothing it out or anything. I mean, the whole idea is this is supposed to be invisible, right? Let's hope it works out invisible. That'll be our goal. Okay. Just wrapping it up, and I'm just pushing to make sure that we have enough adhesive in there to push it all together. And if not, we could add some, but we're just wrapping it up. And then up here, of course, where we did this, we're a little shy, of course, for adhesive because it didn't come through. So I'm gonna trim off these corners. Sorry, make sure you can see that. And then I'm just gonna blob some glue in there. That's a technical term. Blob it in there. All right. Ooh, it's so quiet now that the baby's toy quit singing at me. There we go. All right, so now it's all tucked in pretty tidy. And we'll do the same thing down here. Just clip off anything that wants to hang out and make sure that all that has got a little bit of glue on it. After this, it's going to be glued into the book and all kinds of things. So this is not the only adhesive it's going to get. Okay, so now we have created what's going to be the inner spine of our book, and it's just coated and wrapped in that fabric. Okay, and now we're going to set that aside and work on some pages. Yuck, I don't like that glue on me. It's all gummy. I pick at it for hours. Okay, so need our cover back. You remember yesterday, if you were with me, I got out some of my resume bond paper. It is my favorite paper to use in journals. I buy all the business paper that I find out in thrift stores or garage sales or anywhere I can find it, because it is a cotton bond paper, and it is it is heavier weight. Hey Kathy, how are you feeling, my friend? It is a heavier weight paper. It has some texture to it. The colors are always beautiful. I don't have to do anything to this. This is a cream or an ivory color. You can kind of see it there. And you'll find it, they sell it brand new at Walmart still. Back with the copy paper, it's always in a nice box. And usually it's called resume paper. You can find certificate paper sometimes at sales like that. So it is my paper of choice. Even if I'm doing a digital printable kit, I print my digitals on this paper. Okay, it just gives a beautiful finish. So I'm gonna just pull out 4, and that may wind up being too many, because I think about 12 sheets total, which would be 24, which is then 48 sides, is actually quite a bit for our little book. Okay, I saw you asked about the resume paper. So that is what it is. And usually if I find it, the other real prize that is very hard to find these days is typing paper. If you can find the old school typing paper that came in a nice package. Dorinda, I have a super cheap inkjet printer. It's an Epson, but it's not the tank system. It is like a $30 printer. Now the ink is a problem, but it's expensive. I always grab the certificate paper, especially if it doesn't have all the pre-printed stuff on it, although I like both, but the business paper I will always purchase, always, always. Okay, so I just folded this in half, and now I just want to put it in my book and see how it fits, and lucky for me, it's the right size. So we know that our pages need to be or can be as large as 8.5 by 11. Thankfully, they don't have to be that big. You don't find old papers. I find a multitude of old papers. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying folks around me have a lot of old paper, I guess, because it is fairly easy to locate. All right, so I'm gonna take a couple of sheets of music. I spent 4 days in a Dallas jail. What do you think about that song? Or When Love Turns to Hate. I don't even know what this is. When it came to me, this is how it looked. And I have no idea what the songs are. Why did this happen to me? Heart of Stone. This is kind of rough. Ernest Tubbs. Are You Waiting Just for Me? That's a good one. That sounds like it might go with, you know, our pictures on the front or on the group that are on a trip. And the postcard is the Tower of London. Is it old country? Try me one more time. Could you take me back? It just doesn't matter now. Soldier's last letter. I guess I'm just a fool. It's been so long, darling, and tomorrow never comes. Let's do It's Been So Long, Darling. Yeah, I've heard of him. I just had not heard. These are all Ernest Tubb music. I see now, you can see up here They're all Ernest Tubb, Words and Music by Ernest Tubbs. Yeah, so there you go. So that was just out of this little flyer. And I think it's pretty close to size 2. Yep, it's a little shorter and about the same length. So that's nice. So we'll just fold those in half. You remember we picked out our 3 pages of dictionary paper, and we're just gonna put those in there. I'm just making a stack, and then we'll organize them a little bit, okay? Then I took apart the sister book. Remember we were looking at that, and I love the feel of this. Is really, hey Melody, this is really nice paper. So I thought we might just flip through and see what we've got here. Here's that Donna Fargo song. You guys remember Donna Fargo? There would be prayers for your freedom from everything that binds you and solutions to any problems you may have in life in this pretty basket of wishes. Do there. And then these are mostly 40s and 50s music. And I am pretty fortunate. I live in Kansas City, which is the founding city and the world headquarters for the Hallmark company. So it is not uncommon to find lots of like stationery and old cards. A lot of people around here worked for them, you know, and then they retired and they have it. This one looks good. It's not really got a lot of titles, except this one says The Reality of Now. And it will be long, sticking off here. I'm gonna leave it. We can trim it. You were born in Kansas City. I went to college in Kansas City, then moved away, and then we've been here, getting close now to 1.5 years, which is hard to believe. And then there's this one that we put the washi tape on yesterday, okay? And so we'll pull that one out. And then the other piece that I have sitting here today is the shorthand book, okay? So let's find, this is really slick. It's a textbook paper, so it's a different texture. And I don't really want to shred it up because it's a little bit small. Hello, hello. So I'm just going to use my box cutter and go right along here. And hopefully I detached a page or 2. Or almost did. Yes, ma'am. I did. I did. Okay. Let's see where that puts us. And if not, I surely have some more stuff. You took Greg in the 70s. I would love to find some practice books that have the actual handwriting in them. But anything that is text but unreadable, I really like. So I know this is texty, but I can't read it. I love foreign language books for the same reason, all that stuff. Okay? So let's fold that. So that's 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's about all I think we want to tackle in this particular book. Okay. So we always have the decision to make. What goes in the center of the signature and what goes on the outside of the signature are the most important. You're out to lunch with your son. Aw. My son that lives over on the Kansas side here, we go out to lunch quite a bit. Almost every Friday he works from home. And so we'll go get some lunch together. And I cherish those. All right. So now I'm just not thinking too much. I'm just kind of randomly putting pages. Listen to her. She's talking to her toys, y'all. I don't know if they're listening, but she is telling them. And I'm just trying to pick through the different kinds of paper that I have. And I'm doing 1 page of the resume paper and then 2 pages of special paper, whatever that may be. And I may wish I had done something a little different. And if so, we'll add something. All right. And then I think I put the music here in the middle. Hey, Janet, I'm trying to decide. Let's do, okay, we're going to make this dictionary page with the travel word, the very first thing that you see. Okay, so then let's do music and shorthand. I'm going to turn this one the other way so that bright red number 24 isn't the first thing we see. Ooh, and I've got one more page here of the sister book. So let me drop that out, put that here, put that, that's going to be too many. That's like, oh wait, I have, never mind. Never mind. Okay, shorthand and dictionary page. Okay, now once you've kind of rough stacked them and you think you have a plan, now it's time to really give it a flip through. I'm going to put you down just a hair. I'm still here, but I think you can see the table better. Okay, so I just have all these stacked up. Hey, Diane, how are you? And I'm just going to lay them in here as if they were in my book, and I'm going to look. Now, I love that we can see travel, but we're going to have to highlight it, as I don't really like that we see trap. All right, we could change it, because here on this side, it's traversable, which would work. Yep. Okay, I like those words a little better. I don't know if I want to see trap first time you open. Okay. And then we have this, and we have our plain paper, and then we have our lovely poem paper, and we can fold this in if we want to or trim it off. And then we have our song paper, and we have plain, and then we have dictionary and shorthand, and I'm gonna spread these out so you see both, okay? So we can see the layers while I'm doing that. And hope and pray I can keep them that way when I start sewing them in, okay? And then here's dictionary, which I want the top on this side, okay? And then another poem, and then a plain, and then music for our center. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. I've got some clips here, and while I've kind of got it in place, it's going to be tricky with this one because it's all different lengths, right? So I'm going to try to get it all pressed together, folded pretty good, and then I'm going to clip from the bottom and from the top and hope that I catch them all. If not, and we always do, we just have to watch. Like I did, I just barely got this one. Okay, now we're to the point where we need to put our holes in for sewing our signature in, all right? And that little page is just a little crooked. All right, let's fix that. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my big sewing needle that I use to sew in because it's sitting here and it's handy. And I'm just gonna open my pages and I'm gonna go right in the center and poke my guide hole right through there. And I'm gonna come, and I'm gonna do it pretty shallow because we've got these pages going all kinds of lengths. So instead of going an inch from the bottom and an inch from the top, which is what I usually do, I'm in about 1.5 inches just to try to catch all these varied lengths of pages. Okay, and all 3 now of my holes are in. Okay, now I'm gonna take my invisible binding spot and I'm gonna set it right here, and I'm gonna use it, sorry, can't talk with a Pinlet in my mouth, and I'm centering it on my pages, and I'm using my pen now to mark where I poked those holes on here. Okay, so these holes should be perfect to my signature because of that. Okay, because I didn't measure, I just compared the two. And then I'm just gonna try to use my needle and see if I can poke holes through here. And I can just enough to get them started, which is all we need, right? So we just pull it through and then get something to push against, it'll be a little bit easier. And then I'm just working my needle through these holes. Okay, can you see then that we're getting a pretty nice clean hole, and gives me one last chance to make sure it's in the center, right? All right. What is it? Get it. Get that toy. Okay, so now we have our spine with our 3 holes in it as well. And I'm just going to grab some embroidery floss because it's what is, again, here. And we like to use what's handy. And this will work just fine. I've been using embroidery floss quite a bit. And one of the tricks that I have been using, I think we're going to run out of time. I think Boss Baby is going to tell us we are done. Are we done? Are we done? Yeah. Yeah. Is I've been leaving it doubled. Okay, so I have been using 2 full strands of embroidery floss. Oh my, and I pulled that one wrong. Did you see that? It's like I just pulled the yarn out of the wrong end of the skein. Oh, let me clip that off and see if I can get something to let loose now. So by using it doubled, we have 12 strands of floss. That's what I'm trying to get through there, which gives us plenty of strength for our book. Okay, so yeah, we'll make it sing. Yeah, hit it, make it sing. Make it sing, Adeline. Okay, now I'm just threading this through, leaving it doubled. Okay, and we're going to see if we can get this sewing in before I have to pick up the baby, because I can do a lot with a baby in hand, but I can't really sew with a sharp needle, right? Okay, so now we would normally be sewing all of this through the back of our book, but in this case, we're just sewing it to the spine. It's an independent creature. So if you, like me, struggle with feeling like you get your signatures just where you want them, I struggle with that. This is a great way that you don't have to try to wrestle your whole book to sew your signatures in. You can sew them to a detached spine. Okay. Yeah, hang on, last one. Last one, big girl. She's like, she don't care if it's the last one or the first one. She's done. Okay. Get enough thread here to get back through the middle. And I tell you guys all the time, I take mine apart with every stitch because this is the way I can see it and manage it. So just pull it loose. Get your thread where you want it. Okay, there we go. Now we're all the way through. Yes, Adeline, we're all the way through. Okay, and I got my needle off. Then I just need to do what we always do. See, I got a loop of thread in here and we don't want that. So we're gonna tug and tighten on our strings until it is smooth here and smooth in here. Now, this is gonna leave me with my strings in the middle of my signature, which I don't mind. I don't mind that. But if you do mind it and you want it all to be invisible, start the other way. Start in from the back. And so your strings and your knot would end up here, and then you would glue them in and tuck them in behind your second spine. Okay? All right. Give me a second. I'm going to retrieve the baby. I'm going to try her in her seat up here and see if we can get this glued in before World War III breaks out. Yeah. Okay, here I come. Here I come. Come on. Come on. Come on, big girl. Yeah, you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi, Adeline? Yeah. She just has not been so much about independent play today. And that's okay. There she is. Yeah. Yeah. You see yourself? Yeah. Okay. So take the clips off now. Everything is intact. Right? Just like before, everything is sewn in, except it's attached here. Okay? She is, Dana. She is. They saying hi to you, baby. And my friends, they say hi to you. Then I am going to take a whole lot of glue, a whole lot of glue. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because this is fabric gluing to fabric, okay? And I am going to glue it in, and I am going to clamp it down tight, and I'm going to let it set for the next 24 hours until it's totally cured. And then we're going to hope and pray it worked. And if it doesn't work, let's just say we go to all this trouble and I don't feel like it glued in there very good. There's still ways that we can deal with that. All right. And we will. All right. So that's what I'm going to do with that, but you don't have to watch it. I'm just going to glue that down and put it in there. Now, Miss Adeline, you want to make a book? You do? Of course she does. She's Grammy's girl. She wants to make a book. Okay. So I know that most of us look at our books as journal material, and that's okay. I do too. I do too. But my first love in books was just an altered regular book that I just started out decorating the covers because I loved the covers and I thought that they were such a fun decorative element that I had around my house. Because, you know, I like old books and it was a way to show them. I'm moving her seat over here while we're talking. And so, all right, I got her seat here in the chair. Let's see if she'll sit there and play with her toys another minute. Maybe so, and maybe not. Hey, you gonna get your bee? Maybe not. Wanna get that? Okay. Probably not. We'll see. Did you get it? Did you get it, Adeline? Did you get it? You got it. Oh, you got Mr. B. Yeah. Okay. So I started with just covering existing books and decorating them because I liked the way they looked. Okay. Did you see that? I think I just had a fly try to fly at my nose. But altered books are one of my favorite things as well. And Readers Digest books make great altered books because of the way they're bound. They have they're glued in, and so you can remove any number of pages without disturbing the structure of the book. So to make an altered book, you would just go through and remove like 8 pages and leave 1, or 8 and leave 2. And usually I would do 8 or 9 out and leave 3, and that way I could glue them together into a thick piece of paper. And then you can use it as a journal or an art journal or anything else that you want. But I love the idea of just dressing up these covers into kind of our style, right? So this is another piece of that sweet material that we had on the other book, just another spot on that. And I love the way that would look wrapped on there. And then I have a little bit more of, again, this is just the odds and ends pieces that I collected when I was cutting everything up to get it ready. So we are truly making do here with what we have. Okay, so this would be the back and this would be the front. And we could do the same thing that we did on the other. We could put down a whole layer of fabric if you wanted to. But I think in this case, the way it fits with just the 2 medallions of here, yes, really too. I have never tried or known anything about how to do that. Hey, Miss Carolyn, the initial books, but I see them all the time. So I'm just going to clip away 2. Now, when I first started cutting up crocheted items, right, especially the big ones, I did not realize that they wouldn't ravel, but they really don't. So that, I thought that opened the world up. to me. So I think if we just kind of strategically place our middle here to where we don't get a lot of the letters, but they don't really show too much, then we could cover our spine. And remember, in most displays, this is all that's visible, right? If you were going to do a book stack. But with these, with the beautiful fronts, we could take this. Again, I'm still not sure which is the front and the back. And we could go this way. I like that. And cover our front with this. And then take these and cover the spine like this. And we have this. And then because of the Reader's Digest having such beautiful covers anyway, why not take advantage of that? And just with two little pieces of material, you're in pretty good shape. I also have this, which is a much thicker texture, which would be, for me, another piece that would look kind of cool on the spine. And it too, she found something interesting, would cover enough of it that I don't think it would be a problem. I kind of like the little peak of the gold coming through. And then it would lay, it kind of looks like a spider web. So I guess it could be a fall or a Halloween picture, but then we could have this, and this would kind of come over. Just a different appearance. But I really love this one. I really love this one. And I have some white of that too. It just didn't work out that I had extra of it, so it's not here. It's all rolled up in the other chair. Okay, so let's decide. Did we ever decide which one we think is the front or the back? I showed you. Look at all the like threads and stuff on this side, but it looks kind of scraggly. And so I think this is meant to be the front, even though it's much more plain, but it looks more tidy. So I'm still kind of torn about that. I don't know. Okay, so I'm debating which order to go in. I think we will, that one's even got a big hole in it. I kind of like that. All right, so let's go with it this way. I like, if I'm going to put a word detail or something, I like to have it across the top. So we'll put this piece down like this, and then we'll put this piece on the border. You want your book? Want to read? I know she got satisfied. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. All right, now we got to wait for the glue to run back down in the tip. But that's all right. Time to chat, right? Time to chat. Okay. So this one is a little bit different because it doesn't have a lot of good structure. So I am gluing on the thicker pieces of the fabric and just pressing it into the book where I want it. And then I'm going to open it up and really apply the most of my glue on that kind of medallion there and get that put down. I still think that's the back, but I really like it. I do like this scraggly more side, but most of the stuff that was made in the era that these things are made, they wouldn't have liked the scraggly, right? It's just us. We like all that torn up business. Okay. So we're just tabbing that down. And then up here, we don't have anything to really tack to. So it's going to stay loose for now. All right. So now let's just stand it up. And we're going to put a lot of glue all over the spine. Sure we are. We're going to put a lot of glue on there. As soon as it squirts out of that bottle, we are. Okay. Tack these little pieces in and then grab this beautiful piece here and place it. Aiming for the middle. It either oozes out the top or it all goes down to the bottom so fast that I can't use it. Okay, I'm not going to put any Fabri-Tac back here for now because I don't want to glue it to my table. And I would glue it to my table. Okay, now I'm just going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm just going to get all of these little spots that I can on this doily glued up and then laid down. Okay, and touch that in there. All right, so there, I love that. I think all of the patterning of all that goes so pretty with the color behind that. Okay, now I'm still not going to glue this backside down because you know I make a mess. We all know I would. Okay, we used postcards yesterday and I had some more sitting here and I thought we might find a little graphic that we liked on there. And I also found my flowers that I was looking for yesterday for the other one. So I have, these would be really lovely with this. So let's see if we like flowers or if we want a picture. They're right over there. I actually can reach them for a change. Gotta be smarter than the bag, Adeline. Like, yep, Grammy, you gotta be smarter than the bag, lady. And I left all the flowers in the bag after all that work. These were on clearance at my Hobby Lobby, $1.74. That was nice. And it's all separate. So we really can build our own. Wow, that's a big one, y'all. That is a big flower. I love, maybe we definitely need the sunflower, I think, don't you? And I love this rosebud. And then, well, let's see, we've got different colors of greenery. I forgot to make sure you guys could see. Sorry about that. And maybe we'll just do a trio of flowers, but I want the sunflower to be the showstopper. Just like that. What do you think? And then, yep, I love that. That's me through and through. I'll have to get my hot glue machine heated up. And then we need a title for across the top. And I'm not sure what I have handy that might have a word in it. I have the dictionary, but I would prefer a larger word. A larger word. Ooh, there's a beautiful tag that came in some of my happy mail. I keep all of my favorite things here. So I have all kinds of little stuff poked. Now this is my dining room table, mind you, and it's always still here. Here's a box of, they're just like labels and pieces, but I think most of them, ooh, that would be really pretty. I don't know if I see, I don't think we want hyaluronic acid. I mean, I don't know, but I just don't think that's what we're looking for. I found the coolest thing, you guys. Thank you for hanging with me. A friend of mine shared one with me. These are little mini cards, and I think we'll start doing them before we close up on our lives, and I'll tell you what they are when we get ready to do that. Okay. So I think, let me turn you around here. I love the looks of this piece right here. I'm not sure I like it over here by itself, but I do like it over here, tucked right under the edge of the leaf. And we can glue that down because it will go down with some Fabri-Tac. Yeah. Adeline is chewing her fingers up over here. Yeah, chewing them up. All right. And then let's put this right here. And then I am going to heat up my hot glue tool and add these flowers down. And I think my plan for this one will be an altered book. And so when we get back together, I'll show you how I would do that. How I would take this book, remove enough pages to create a sweet altered book. I think that's pretty. I love that. And I think this would be lovely just sitting out as a decoration piece. The top book of a book stack. And you could still remove all of the guts out of here, all of the pages, and have a beautiful journal cover, right? Just put your own pages right back in. So I am going to let you guys go and get back to my babysitting duties. Put that together. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock Central for our monthly sale. I have got so many things, so many things. I've got a few things to finish putting together, but feeling pretty good about being prepared for once. So that's a plus. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, wait, the card. See, I told you. So they come in themes, and this one is Be Strong. And the little cards look just like this. Let me get it open. I could have done that before we were all here together. Okay, and then in here are a whole bunch of little cards, and they are like pull tabs. So they're a secret mystery, okay? And so what they're going to be as an encouragement for our day, and we're going to hope and trust that whatever we pull out of here is just what we need to hear for the day. All right, so there, I just dropped one. That's the one. Okay, so these are all about being strong, and you fold it here and it opens just like this. And inside it says, never fear shadows. They simply mean there's a light shining somewhere nearby. And that's a quote by Ruth Wrinkle. So there is your thought for today. Never fear shadows. They simply mean that there's light shining somewhere nearby. And it'll find you. It'll find you. So there's your Be Strong thought for the day. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Sure.